Happy Human Rights Day. I'm really happy to welcome you here in Bratislava Regional Center and present you our webinar, which will introduce you our new platform, Human Rights Laboratory, otherwise we call it Real Lab. And we will start with a presentation of participants of Social Innovation Camp, the very first Social Innovation Camp devoted to human rights and justice, which was held on 28th of June 2013 in Yerevan, Armenia. We have here Sarhang from Iraq, then we have here Ena from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and after that in the discussion we will be joined by Chingin from Hong Kong, who is an intern with the Human Rights and Justice Practice of UNDP Bratislava Regional Center. Okay, we can start with Ena. So say you can tell a few words about you and your initiative because we cannot see Sarhang right now. Ena, could you?
Okay. Okay. As you already know, my name is Ena and I'm a former Lab participant from Bosnia and Herzegovina. The reason why I applied with my idea for Lab Social Innovation Camp is that I have many complaints on current situation in my country, and one of these complaints is that first of all, youth unemployment in my country and the access to free legal aid. So I actually tried to combine these two problems and to find one mutual solution. I believe I do understand needs of low students in my country. And one of these needs is to gain some practical experience, not just to learn dry theory. So I was thinking about a website where every citizen can post its question that is connected to law and get an almost instant answer from law students. Of course, these law students could not work independently. They would have to consult an experienced lawyer who is, for example, worker of Free Legal Aid Center. So this would be guaranteed that the answer is correct. So this is exactly something what client needs. But on the other side, this would be a unique opportunity for those students in my country to gain some practical experience. And in my opinion, these students should get some kind of certificate or at least a good reference for their further job hunting after finishing their studies. And these are poor citizens, people with disabilities, and children without parental care, and so on. So in Yerevan, my team and I came up with the idea that, for example, independent lawyers could also do some pro bono work for these free legal aid centers and their clients. And of course, there are many other ideas, and this is just the beginning. So we hope that this project will see the daylight in my country. I don't know, was the connection okay? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I think Ena, you finished right now. Yeah? Ena?
Yes.
Sarhang, can you tell us more about the hierarchy initiative?
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, basically, our project was or should I just talk about the people don't know anything about this, right?
Yeah, you can tell us like more like background.
Okay, well, basically, if you go right now on any Kurdish or Arabic Iraqi websites, just take a look to like the Arabic, even the English versions, you would think that kind of Iraq has a man-only population. This is because always the politics or decision-making economy, those kind of sections are dedicated to men. So basically, you would think that women are not actually active in these domains. And I have one little story I always tell everyone when I talk about the project is that once there is a great Iraqi woman, Iraqi British woman, her name is Zuha Hadid. Zuha Hadid, she's the first woman in the world to received the highest prize in architecture. And she's worldwide, she's a renowned everywhere in the world. She has her design and buildings everywhere from China to USA to France. So basically, I wanted to find an article about her to my little sister, who is about 12 years old. When I typed her name in Kurdish in Google, I didn't find one single article about her. So basically, I was surprised to not be able to even find one article. Then, just to experiment, I compared her to another woman. So I just randomly chose a singer, an Arabic singer. To my surprise, I found about 10,000 results on her. So kind of this difference was very surprising, because how the media kind of spotlights these people or cares about the women in entertainment, for example, industry, or as beauty kind of icons or whatever, but they do not kind of cover women, like kind of effective women or creative women or powerful women in other domains of life. So this made me think. So I wrote an opinion article and I published it, and I did more research. So when I did more research, I found out there is kind of almost a systematic way of misrepresenting women, and also marginalization. That's the word I was looking for. So misrepresentation and marginalization kind of systematically going on in the Iraqi media, Kurdish, Arabic, but also in the Middle Eastern media in general. So I found some research showing that about 80% of all the articles, or all the published articles, are misrepresenting women or reinforcing gender stereotypes, which means they are associating women to the domains of household, beauty, and childbearing. So this is the issue, which is very kind of important in the Middle East, because women do not have a lot of freedom here, even though this is kind of, you can see similar problems in the West or in North America, but the difference here is the context is quite different. The context here is you have physical violence, you also have symbolic violence against women, and also you don't have enough participation. It might be unintentional, but still it's going on, it's very prevalent in the Iraqi media. And the users, the problems with the readers and the users of the media do not know about this. So it looks harmless and it's invisible, and in the day-to-day consumption of the media, you would think of something as something normal, which is not, because as like we live here in Erbil, in Kurdistan, or other part of Iraq, women participate in different domains of life, in politics, in arts, in decision-making, business. But I was surprised how the media it has become almost a norm to show the woman in only as reducing women to only physical appearance or childbearing or household domains. So yeah, and this was not only in Iraq as well. I found out that the Middle East, you have the highest rate of gender stereotypes. So about 81% of all articles are reinforcing gender stereotypes. This is based on a research published in 2010, a global research. So then I thought of doing something about this. I thought of doing monitoring this sort of misrepresentation. First, to engage people in the kind of discussions about this issue, but also to to help journalists or the media organization to be aware of this issue, to produce data and reports on the issue, so that they can work on it for research, for training purposes, and hopefully to improve this this negative image of women in the media. So the idea is that we wanted to create a website or a digital portal where users and journalists can go online and tag any article that deems misrepresenting women. So for this, we created some kind of criteria for choosing the article. So if some article kind of reducing women to physical beauty only through the image or the content, so we would tag it, we would publish it on the site, and on the site we would say which site is coming from, the source, why is this a problem, and then you would have a list of all the tags. Now, if you go to the website, you would see it's in Kurdish, but you cannot see the design. You see how the latest tags. You see the latest tags. So we also thought about making the process a training process. So we wanted to involve journalists. If you go to amediawatch.com, we want to involve journalists in the production or in the monitoring. We want to train them on gender issues. So the process would be journalists doing the monitoring of the top 10, let's say, or top 20 Iraqi websites. At the same time, we train them, and then the results will be published online. But also users can do the same. Users can send us or can tag an article. We would review them and publish them as well. So this would be kind of crowdsourcing / journalists or team of volunteers, let's say. This was developed in Nuri Lab in Armenia with a team from Armenia, also a team from Iraq. This was the basic idea, kind of we developed over the weekend over there, which was quite good. I kind of learned a lot from both the teams, the Armenian and the Iraqi team as well, also from the organizers. But after that, we also added one section, which is we call the women expert. Which in this section, you basically, for the women experts in Iraq, you can register your name according to the city, and you can make yourself available for the media for interviews as experts. So, for example, if a media organization wants to have an interview on politics or economy, whatever business, they want to find a woman in that city on that subject, they can just go on the site, find the women and contact them. This was kind of, there's another project like this in England called the Women's Room, which is kind of exactly like this, but we integrated kind of this idea to the project so that we can increase the women's voice at the same time as doing the monitoring. Also, we added another section which to show the positive kind of representation of women. If there's an article that is done well, we would post it as well, so that people know how to do it, something like this. So that's the main idea.
That sounds very interesting. Now, right now, we're looking at the site of India. So far in 2 languages, but I think English is coming soon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah?
Yes, we're working on the English right now, and we're working on actually a few different organizations and NGOs are interested. We're working on getting funds in right now. We've talked to a few people that are very interested in the idea, and they're interested to support it. So we're in the process of getting funding and kind of start a full-fledged project with a training. And hopefully by the end of the kind of training session of 1 year, we're thinking about writing an ethic codes, kind of journalistic ethic codes, a gender-friendly ethic codes where the media organization voluntarily sign it, just to show their kind of understanding of the issue and to show that they can improve this. It's not law or anything. It's just like a code that they can work together. And we're thinking about at the end of the year, if we start the project, we will bring all the journals together to talk about it and kind of draft a copy of that. So that is the vision for the future, hopefully next year.
How many journalists do you cooperate with right now? Do you have any already partners?
Well, Yes, right now we have some people like working as volunteers doing the monitoring. But what I was thinking is like the training. I wanted to do a kind of training, hands-on training and monitoring process. We haven't started that phase yet. But right now we're just doing the kind of monitoring here and there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think there will be some more questions maybe later on in discussion. Thank you, Sarhang, and good luck.
Anytime, no problem.
And right now we are going to move to the other section, which will be introduced in our platform, Human Rights Laboratory, GRILLAB. And we prepared short presentation, which will be showing you actual context of this initiative. So basically, what is GRILLAB? GRILLAB is a common space for institutions, civil society, and youth organizations. It should kind of bridge the gap between programs arranged and designed by institutions, for example, like UNDP, and some activists, human rights activists, like, for example, Sarhang or some others, who have some ideas which can make human rights protection more effective and meaningful. This is actually the basic idea, which is showing how to bring like fresh thinking for more effective rule of law, human rights, and justice programs. How was it launched? Already we mentioned that. So we organized a very first social innovation camp in Yerevan, which was organized in Armenia, and they were all participants from 9 countries, including Ena and Sarhang. And out of these 9 countries participants, 3 of them were awarded. We already mentioned Sarhang's project. 2 more projects are the ones in Ukraine and Belarus. In Belarus, the project should enhance access to justice, or enhance access for people, persons with disabilities, through interactive application, which will be monitoring accessibility of some facilities in the city, in Minsk. The other project in Ukraine, it's dealing more with urban monitoring or planning, and tries to include and engage citizens into the process through another application where people can comment on proposals of some urban developments in the city and contribute with their proposals as well. And as we mentioned, right now, based on this social innovation camp, we decided to upgrade website, which was initially devoted just to the event and going beyond the event. And right now, we are introducing the platform where actually everyone can submit ideas, and these ideas will be considered, and let's see whether we can build under these ideas some programs for human rights, justice, and rule of law. Okay, basically that's about the background, and maybe you would be more interested about the idea why actually GRILLAB was established, why we actually came up with this idea. That was kind of a question of one girl in Montreal in Turkmenistan, and she was asking what we do for human rights and justice in general. And she kept asking, can we do more? And that was actually our question, and we were thinking like how to actually do more what we do right now, how to go beyond like traditional understanding of human rights and justice programs, and try to engage more people, try to make them more responsive, and enhance their outreach. So basically that was the idea, and right now, as we mentioned before, we would like to kind of contribute to the programs. You might be interested, if you wish to submit some ideas, what are our topics. So as you could see right now, so basically our portfolio consists of mostly three main pillars. One of them is human rights promotion and protection, and the one is access to justice, which involves, for example, even concept of legal aid and justice in general. And the third one is rule of law. So, and out of these, because it's quite a wide range of topics, you could see some particular issues such as national human rights institutions or ombudspersons in the countries who try to help them to be more effective and reach out to citizens, as well as, for example, independent judiciary or gender equality, parliamentary development, legal empowerment, really important issue, especially in some countries where people have really low legal awareness. In general, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and LGBT rights, rights of child. And I would particularly mention here universal periodic review. If you haven't heard of that, that's a really unique international human rights mechanism where each of the states, all the states of the United Nations, is reviewed regularly by other states. It's actually peer review, and they got review of their human rights situation. In our regional office here in Bratislava, we try to support countries in making this process, because we will get, after this review, you will get recommendations. We are trying to strengthen the implementation of those recommendations on the country level, so as the actual recommendation can get realized. And as you could see, like here, the scope is pretty broad. So now, actually, how to get involved. There are just three ways we find more useful for you. So first of all, you can share your idea. If you go to our website, there is Idea Box page. This is print screen version of Idea Box, where you actually can see already some map with some ideas. It's already Sarhang's ideas, for example, there. You can see this female figure, so that's one of them, a media watch. And you have some more, so you can check it out, and maybe that will help you to understand like what we are dealing with and where you can figure yourself with your project. So this is one of the ways. There on the website you will find even the formula which can be filled out, and you can send us your proposal. This is one way. The other way is more, I would say, easier and more interactive. So you can use our social media channels. So far we have two of them. One of them is our website, Relab. You can, if you just you can find it under this name. And the other one is Twitter account, the same one here, Relab. And we will try to bring you some news as well from the area like innovation and human rights, or like some new innovative projects which are realized in this field. So you'll find them here as well, along with some updates from our project and etc. So this is the second way. And the third one is the one you are participating in right now. So it's joining our webinars or hangouts. We are planning more. This is very first month, so I apologize as for like some child mistakes or the very first steps we are making right now. But hopefully that will get better. And we are planning to invite some experts as well, international human rights experts, who will be discussing together with you, and maybe with some other like people who already got some projects or ideas, which can be kind of inspiration for all of us in this field. So basically, that's it. Those are the three ways you can participate in. And right now, we will be happy to discuss with you like how you find this idea, how you find all of these presentations. And we will have then one more from Chingin. But maybe right now, let's go for more interaction. And maybe I will ask here, girls, or like people here, if you had any questions to Sarhang or Ena or Chingin.
Well, I really like Sarhang's comments, because we have a bit of the same discussion in the Netherlands. I'm from the Netherlands, and it's the discussion has numbed a bit now, but we were discussing as well that we don't have enough women on our TV. Whenever there are experts on TV in talk shows, they'll always invite men, and we had a discussion whether we should install a quota for women, whether public state TV should have a quota that, I don't know, at least 30% of guests should be women. And some people are against it, some people are for it, and yeah, it's interesting to see that also in a country like Iraq, people are concerned with these things, and yeah.
Do you think there is something to share? Like you can kind of think of some idea?
Well, this quota is a very, like they always have the discussion, should you have a quota for women in CEO positions or not? And I don't know, would there be any, maybe in Iraq, would there be any like people supporting those ideas to install like a quota? Could that ever be discussed, or?
Sarah?
Right. Yeah, it's right now in Iraq. In politics, for example, in the parliament, there are quotas for women participation. This is especially after 2003 for the Kurdistan parliament and the Iraqi parliament. You have quotas. This is something that's going on. But the problem with these kind of the quotas is that usually the people get that it's not that they don't get their based on their expertise. That's kind of, it's a problematic, but at the same time it's better than nothing. So that's one thing. But it would be interesting if we could promote, like we could create the environment for such participation. For example, I mentioned Women's Room in the UK, which is it's a website. You kind of people register with the name in the UK, maybe in Europe as well. But it would be interesting if, for example, in Holland, you could have the same thing. You could have women who are interested in giving interviews, have their name kind of registered somewhere, so that the media organization can find them if they wanted to. Because usually the media organization have the excuse that they don't have the women for the interview, right? That's what usually they say. We don't have it, so we find a man. But this is, yeah, and also maybe if women can be more kind of they can active, not active, but like kind of proactive. I don't know how do you say
it?
Maybe
if they
go forward to give interviews. More initiative. They can go forward for the interviews. They can express themselves. But it's interesting you mentioned that in Holland you have that problem. Imagine in Iraq, it's much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, Holland is kind of. We always think of Holland as.
Yeah, I actually had a couple of women. They were writing essays in the newspapers, and they also proposed to make a list to give to the editors of the talk shows that they could. They had a list of people they could interview, because they also said, well, we don't know the women. We'd love to have women, but we don't know them, and that could be a.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's like a non-coercive approach. So I really like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would. Or maybe, yeah, I mean, it would be interesting, for example, to have a channel for women, to talk about a specific problem before they go on TV. Because usually the problem is that maybe a satellite channel, let's say like a national satellite channel, they want to make sure their guest is someone who can, can attract audience, right? That's their main concern usually. So how can they make sure that this person, this guest who's coming on TV, is someone who can, who can have a, good interview? Maybe it would be interesting, for example, to have a channel for women experts to talk about, like 1 minute, talk about something, For example, you would have like 100 women, everyone talking about like a minute or two talking about a specific issue or something that they have the expertise. So this would be a good channel, for example, for the media organization to find them, to see who is kind of, who's good for their interview. For instance, this is an idea, maybe.
Thank you. We have one more question.
I mean, things, yeah, no problem. Things like this, I think, would be more interesting than like quotas. I think. I don't know.
Thank you.
I have basically two questions. Thank you for all of you for your presentations. One, you just mentioned about that about your planned work with the journalist on the code of conduct. Now, did you get some kind of early feedback from them, and did you have a chance to discuss with some of the journalist associations or maybe groups, professional groups? It is important because you might have enrolled with individual journalists, but it's a professional body at the end of the day you have to deal with. I'm just really, curious to hear your thought or plan. And secondly, with regard to Bosnia, how you are seeing that new ideas are coming on from the access to justice agenda. We know that when in Armenia we were discussing with some of your team members about legal aid for returnees, but I'm curious to hear that anything you can further shed light on. You don't have to only look at that particular aspect, but anything else you might want to discuss with us. So please, over to you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Or you can go.
Sarhang first, okay.
Okay, I think first Sarhang and then Ena.
Second and then first.
Okay. Okay. So?
Sure. So basically, yes, I have been able to talk to some of the media organizations, themselves, the kind of top first or second, third Iraqi websites, and what I found out is they're kind of not aware of the issue, to be honest. Like they don't think this is an issue, and they like the idea we can work together. But I haven't been able to talk to any kind of body, a kind of association of journalists Kurdistan so far. But very good suggestion, and we should do that. However, the association are made of people from these organizations, as we know usually. So personally, I have contacts here in Kurdistan region with the media organizations. But in the other parts of Iraq, for example, the south and the middle of Iraq, I don't have that good of a contact with them. So that would be kind of a challenge there. But yeah, that's a very good suggestion. We'll think about it more.
Thank you. Ena, do you have anything to add?
Concerning the free legal aid here in Bosnia, as I already mentioned, I'm familiar with the constant increasing of number of these free legal aid centers in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I know that the new one in eastern Bosnia, in Gorazde, should be officially opened by the beginning of 2014, and I'm really glad for that. And I think that this should continue, this trend of increasing number of these centers. For example, in my city, in Zenica, we have a center for legal aid for women, which is also a good thing. And I know that it is, I think, cooperating with GNDP also. I saw that on their webpage. So I just think that these centers should just combine their forces with the forces of law students, as I already mentioned. So we should just work something do something about it. Yes. And about the thing that Susanna asked me before this, about the Sarhang project and its I don't know, importance for my country. I forgot to mention that my general opinion about this topic is that I think that in Bosnia, I don't know, any smart person is marginalized, so not just women. So I think that it wouldn't be important if that person is a woman, man, child, animal, or whoever. So I think that that's a big problem here.
One follow-up question regarding probably what Zuzana presented about HuryLab offerings. Do you have any suggestion that this would benefit you, or there's something missing, or something you have in your mind, but you thought that maybe it would be good to have some kind of collaboration or help? It would be very helpful for us to also, as we are moving this agenda So anything, any critique, suggestion?
Yeah, Anna, you can tell us. Sorry. Do you have any feedback?
I don't have anything on my mind right here because honestly I haven't heard every detail because of the connection. But I already wrote you an email with my opinion about your website. So I only have one thing to add, and that thing is what will happen with your idea when you send your idea, when you submit it for follow-up. And I already said it's not the most important thing, but it could be maybe written there on the website.
Okay. Anyone else? Sarhang, maybe you have some ideas or suggestions how to make the site more working for you?
Only the website, or
Well,
overall.
no, the overall, the website just in the form of that, but initiative itself. Do you have any ideas?
No, maybe no, not at the moment. I think it's very good. Maybe, for example, with our team, I mean, like in the camp, we can add a team, but then we kind of lost in touch somehow. I don't know why. For example, it would be good if we could have, kind of contacts more with the team. For example, with our developers or programmers. Maybe it's just but there wasn't there kind of, maybe, but nothing that pressing.
Now that you are now that you are thinking of a code of conduct in Iraq or something in Bosnia or any other thing, what is the most challenging part? One thing is I can imagine that probably finance. Is there any way you are looking into this in your own sector? Like if you want to develop a code of conduct and arrange meeting with journalists. I'm just giving one example. I don't think that this is the only example, but I'm picking on it. How are you looking at these resource issues? Because that I would imagine the biggest challenge, if not anything else.
Yes, it's true. The biggest challenge usually is the finance, the funding, but also the networking is very important. For example, we could have. I mean, we had a lot of exposure due to the camp itself. Also, later UNDP's help. So the networking is also very important. I think we could. I mean, if we could, increase our networking, we'd be able to get more people interested in the project itself, maybe on a voluntary basis, or I mean, other people who have the same, the same passion or the same interest, they could participate in the project. So yes, the finance first, and then also exposure and visibility would be something that's interesting or necessary, let's say.
Okay, do we have any other questions here? No one? Okay, so perhaps we can contribute with Chingin's view from Hong Kong right now to make it really International Human Rights Day. So Chingin wanted to present us more about like the human rights situation in Hong Kong, which might be really interesting. And she attended an event, Human Rights Day, in Hong Kong. And she prepared a short presentation showing us some highlights of this event. So Chingin, could you tell us more a bit about that?
You can see it's actually on that day it's an open area, so there are a lot of passengers, tourists passing by. But then they have this kind of interesting exhibitions that can actually get a very eye-catching. So, for example, they have prepared some gifts. You guys it's around Christmas right now, so they have some Christmas cards, which wanted to send to some in-person human rights defenders in Chinese. or in order to address like violence against women, they have some kind of exhibitions of the high heels and with some kind of information street on it. So it's actually it's a public awareness event in Hong Kong with more than 15 international or local human rights organizations participated. So they actually are addressing major human rights issues in Hong Kong. As you can see here, it's like, for example, it include discriminations, refugee protections problems, or anti-poverty policies. So I think like the human rights situation in Hong Kong is it's not too bad at the moment, but actually more can get even better. And that's why I'm hoping that we all can join hands together and take actions in order to create a world in the future that human rights will be respected in all nations.
Chin, thank you very much for this interesting input. It was interesting to learn about what kind of human rights actually are the spotlights in Hong Kong. And since we have 2 more minutes, I would like to ask if anyone else has some questions, or if not, let me thank you, all of you. You participated, and let's hope there will be some more webinars and some more issues to discuss, and more importantly, that our Hero Lab platform will be alive, and that's why we need you actually to be more effective and meaningful. So please join us, interact, and share with us some ideas you have, and we'll be happy to join hands and make them happen. Thank you very much.